Today we will reflect on quite a long sutta, the Majjhima Nikaya, that is the Majjhima Ghatikara Sutta, the middle length Ghatikara discourse, M81. This is the story of Gotama as a monk under the previous Buddha, the Buddha just before our own Buddha, before Gotama himself. This is one of those, what is called a canonical Jataka story. This story is, in some sense, humorous, in some sense, profound, telling us of the human nature of our Buddha before he became awakened. In a sense, he was quite a reluctant holy man at that time. In this sutta, the scenario is in Buddha Kassapa's time. We see our Buddha as the young Brahmin by the name of Jyotibala, and his good friend, his buddy, is the potter. Potter is a Kumbhakara in Pali, by the name of Ghatikara. Now we also know that the name of a Brahma who offered the Bodhisattva when he left home, who offered him the robe and the bowl, is also Ghatikara, but I'm not sure whether they are identical or not, because this Ghatikara here is a stream winner, whereas the Ghatikara, the Brahma who offers the Buddha the robe and the bowl and all the requisites, the 8 requisites for the renunciation, is a Mahabrahma, who does not reside in the pure abode. Of course, there's a possibility that this saint, non-eternal, named Sudawasa, especially came down to the Buddha. There is a possibility there. Anyway, it's not necessary that the two persons, they merely have the same name. Maybe they're not connected as possible too. Let us look at the story now, which starts on page 132, the middle line Ghatikara discourse, M81. So here the story starts with the Buddha and the monks in Kosala country, and there was this big group of monks, and the Buddha was traveling, was walking. The sutta continues. Then the Blessed One, having stepped down from the road, smiled at a certain place. The Venerable Ananda thought, what is the reason? What is the cause for the Buddha's smile, for the Blessed One's smile? Tathagatas don't smile without reason. Right, so he asked the Buddha, why did you smile? Then the Buddha replies, in verse 3, so once Ananda, in this place there was a wealthy and prosperous market town called Vihalinga, with many people, crowded with people. So in other words, they've come to this spot where in the long past time, in ancient India still, there was this Buddha by the name of Kassapa. 3.2. Now the Blessed One Kassapa, the Arahat, fully self-awakened, lived near the market town of Vihalinga. It was here, in fact, that the Blessed One Kassapa had his monastery. And there he had this community of monks. And so when the Buddha said this to Ananda, Ananda was very happy. And he prepares the cloth for the Buddha to sit on. He says, this is most wonderful. So here, this place, we have 2 Buddhas. It's a place where 2 Buddhas have been present or even if you are generous in your grammar, you say are present. The past Buddha Kassapa, and now you have the present Buddha Gotama. This is the only occasion in the Buddhist canon where we come close to the presence of two Buddhas in the same place. Now we know very well, according to early Buddhist teachings, no two Samma Sambuddha, no two fully awakened Buddha will appear in the world at the same time. I mean, it's just a simple fact. You can't have two professors in charge of a department, for example, or you can't have two captains of a ship. You just need one. You can only have one. So there's only one Buddha. This Buddha says, well, this place is where the past Buddha Kassapa used to live. And Ananda is very happy. He prepares the seat for the Buddha. I said, why don't you sit here? We're so happy to know this is also the residence of the past Buddha Kassapa, the Buddha before our present Buddha. Well, in a sense, you might say this also is one of the oldest mention of a past Buddha. So we have one Buddha Kassapa, and then later on you have 7 Buddhas of the past. And then over time, especially in the commentaries, the number began to grow. You have 24 Buddhas of the past, and then 28 Buddhas of the past, and so on. All these we have done study separately in the Sutta Discovery. So here the Buddha continues and tells the story of the Buddha Kassapa, section 5. It says, once long ago, Ananda, in this place there was a wealthy and prosperous market town called Vehalinga. And many people, it's crowded with people, and the Buddha Kassapa lives there. And his chief supporter was a potter named Ghatikara. And this Ghatikara he has a close friend by the name, a Brahmin youth, or we call him a Manava, by the name of Jyotipala. So they are two very close friends, very good friends. Now what's interesting here is you have a kind of cross-cultural arrangement. You have a young Brahmin, Manava, and a potter. In the present time, a potter is a low-caste person, but in the past Buddha's time, they were very good friends. In fact, it is because of this Ghatikara, he's a layman saint, that Jyotipala meets the Buddha, and that is the turning point in Jyotipala's life, which we will find out in a moment. So here, the story continues. The Buddha is telling this Jataka story in the past. He says, so this young Brahmin, Jyotipala, was asked by his friend, the potter Ghatikara, the potter tells the Brahmin youth, the Buddha Kassapa is staying nearby, why don't we go and visit him? But Jyotipala was not very keen. In fact, Jyotipala, he was very rude. He says, section 6.5, he says, enough, my dear Ghatikara, what's the good in seeing that bald-headed little recluse? This is a typical kind of abusive words a Brahmin would use of a shaven-headed monk. He says, what have I to do with a bald-headed little recluse? It's not just the word samana, it's a samanaka. So once you use the word samanaka, it's not a very polite word anymore. So 3 times Ghatikara invites Jyotipala to see the Buddha, and 3 times he refuses. It's adamant. Okay? So now Ghatikara decides to use a skillful means. He said, okay, let us go down and wash. You're going to go down to the river anyway, so let's go down to the river and wash. Actually, it is Jyotipala who is going to wash. This is probably early in the morning when this young Brahmin student, if you like, he goes down to the river to wash his long hair, and then ties up his hair in a knot and so on. So they go down to the river, and there he has already washed himself, he's drying himself. And then the potter Ghatikara. Now, at this point, they are in fact nearer to where the Buddha is. That is the reason why the potter suggests that both of them go down to the river to wash. They are coming even nearer to where the Buddha is staying. So again, the potter Ghatikara tells this, the young Jyotipala, says, look, the Buddha is even nearer, not far away. When do we go and see him? Let's go greet him and listen to the Dharma. Again, Jyotipala's adamant says, no, I don't want to go. There's nothing for me to do with him. So now comes a very interesting turn of events. This shows that they're probably two young people, we're not sure. If ever, probably the potter is older, definitely stronger than Jyotipala. So this time when words fail, his good friend, the potter, and potters are quite strong people, uses physical force. And this is what happens, section 8. Then Ananda, the potter Ghatikara, laying hold of Jyotipala by the waistband, said this to him, my dear Jyotipala, the monastery park of the Blessed One, Kassapa, is not far away. Right? So he says, come, let's go. So he kind of cashed off his belt, okay, cloth belt. But this Jyotipala is again stubborn. He loosens his belt. He says, no, I'm not going. And then this time, the potter Ghatikara takes hold of the moli, the top knot of the Brahmin boy, section 9. Then Ananda, when the Brahmin youth Jyotipala had just washed, the potter Jyotipala seized him by his hair and said, my dear Jyotipala, the monastery park of the Blessed One, Kassapa, the Arahant, fully so awakened one, is not far away. Come on, let us go and visit him. So this time, of course, remember they are good friends. It's very important to remember. Jyotipala is shocked. He says, my goodness, this man, this friend of mine, he dares to seize my top knot, and that's the most sacred spot of a Brahmin. In fact, this is an ancient belief that is so well known that this idea even went down to the Thais, to Thailand, to Southeast Asia, to the various kingdoms, that the top of the head is the most sacred part of the body. So, but in the case of this Jyotipala, this is where you begin to see his spirituality appearing. He says, wow, if my friend goes to the extent of even holding me by my top knot, this must be something really big, something very important. And he says, surely, I think that this is no small matter. So now he says, okay, if I have to, let's go. Okay, let's go and see. In that case, Ghatikara, let go of my hair, then we will go. Right? So they both went to see the Buddha Kassapa. And of course, remember, this Ghatikara is a saint, so he's very respectful of the Buddha. He exchanges greetings with the Buddha, bowed down to him and sat down at one side. However, the Brahmin Jyotipala was not so polite to the Buddha, so he just kind of stood there and let me say, I think both of them sat down, and then the whole idea of Ghatikara bringing this young Brahmin to see the Buddha is, of course, to listen to the Buddha teaching. So here, the Buddha teaches them the Dharma. Now, we're not told exactly what the Buddha taught them, but the important thing is, having heard the Buddha the ice is broken, if you like. In a sense, you might say Ghatikara knew what's going to happen. Whereas for the Jyotipala, he was very impressed by the Buddha's teaching. In fact, he was so impressed, that was the turning point in his life, you might say. Then they went back, they left to their they're walking back to their residences. Then this Jyotipala tells his friend Ghatikara, the water, he says, this is a wonderful teaching. This teaching is so beautiful. Why don't you renounce the world? Why don't you become a monk? Then Ghatikara replies, he says, I can't because I have parents who are blind and I have to take care of them. They're aged, see? He says, surely, section 11, fourth line, surely, my dear Jyotipala, you know me, I have to support my mother and father who are blind and aged. Then this Jyotipala replies and says, in that case, my dear Ghatikara, I will go forth from home into the homeless state. This is what Ghatikara, in a sense, knew was going to happen. He knows that if this young man hears the Buddha, he will renounce the world. So in other words, Ghatikara is no ordinary person. Here again we see this non-returner introducing the young Brahmin Jyotipala to the Buddha, and at once Jyotipala's life is changed, he becomes the Buddha. So his job is done, so to speak. But he's going to come again. In fact, as you know, the title of this sutta is Ghatikara Sutta. It's not Jyotipala Sutta. It's not even Ghatikara and Jyotipala Sutta. It's a story of Ghatikara. Because he's the one who was instrumental, in a sense, in bringing our this Jyotipala to see the Buddha. And because of that, Jyotipala becomes a monk. And Jyotipala's story ends there. Now the story continues with that of Ghatikara. Section 13. So now we have a new chapter, okay? Then Ananda, not long after the Brahmin youth Jyotipala was ordained, half a month after he was ordained, the Blessed One, Kassapa, having stayed in Vehalinga as long as he wished, left on a walk for Benares, walking in stages, so he headed for the capital, in other words. There Ananda, the Blessed One, lived at Deer Park outside Benares. Now Ananda Kiki, the king of Kasi, heard that the Blessed One, Kassapa, has reached Benares. So these kings were happy that the Buddha has come. And he goes to see the Buddha with his entourage. And he arrives in the Deer Park and shows his respect to the Buddha and listens to the Dhamma talks, very happy. Then he invites the Buddha and the monks to the palace. It says, may the Buddha and the monks come tomorrow for a meal, for a breakfast. And the Buddha consents by silence. So we see here the king's name is Kiki, King Kiki. So he is also very devout. He offers Buddha the meal. Then he invites the Buddha for the rains retreat. So here we can have a good guess that this is probably around the month of, say, around late June or early July, before the rains come. But the Buddha remains silent in this case. So 3 times the king invites the Buddha, 3 times the Buddha is silent. Then the king asks, why are you not able to accept this invitation? And the Buddha replies, section 17.4, 4th line, I am sorry, Maharaja, the rains retreat has already been accepted by me. And then 3 times this king invites the Buddha. The Buddha says, I I've already received an invitation. And of course, the king asks, from whom? And the Buddha says, I mean, imagine the king is the highest, the richest, the most powerful person in the land. He's not able to kind of invite the Buddha for the rains retreat. Someone else has kind of been accepted by the Buddha. And the Buddha replies that the potter Ghatikara has invited him to spend rains retreat there. The meaning is that during the rain season, the 3 months of the rains, it is Ghatikara, the potter, who will be supporting the monks. So here, the king is quite impressed. The king thinks, wow, this Ghatikara must be really rich. So to the king, it's like a status thing. You're able to give the Buddha some dana, support so many monks. So he says, wow, is this Ghatikara very rich? And he must be a really very powerful person. This is when we're introduced to who Ghatikara really is. The Buddha now describes Ghatikara to the king. Section 18.5. Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, has gone to the Buddha for refuge, gone to the Dharma for refuge, gone to the Sangha for refuge. Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, is one who abstains from killing, abstains from taking the not given, abstains from sexual misconduct, abstains from false speech, abstains from strong drinks, distilled drinks, and intoxicants that cause heedlessness. Maharaja, the potter, is accomplished in wise confidence in the Buddha, accomplished in wise confidence in the Dharma, accomplished in wise confidence in the Sangha, accomplished in moral virtue, pleasing to the noble ones. Okay, let's just stop here for a moment. First, you see the Buddha says that Ghatikara has taken a 3 refuges, he's giving the 5 precepts, and not only that, he has complete faith, wise faith, avijja pasada, in the 3 jewels, and his moral virtue is like that of the noble ones, the saints. If we stop here, we would at once understand that Ghatikara is at least a stream winner. But we're going to find out soon that he's much more than that. The Buddha continues and says, Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara is free from doubt about suffering, free from doubt about the arising of suffering, free from doubt about the cessation of suffering, and free from doubt about the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Now this in fact describes almost the nature of an arahat, but as we know, Ghatikara is not yet an arahat. So we know that he has attained quite a high level of attainment between Srimuna and arahat. The Buddha continues and says, Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, eats only 1 meal a day. Now remember, we're talking about a layman here. He only takes 1 meal a day, like a monk. Observe celibacy. Is virtuous of good character. Right? So he is single and he keeps the celibacy rule. Here, meaning that he has attained certain levels he is of such a nature that sensual thoughts no more arises in him in that sense. Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, has laid aside gems and gold and given up gold and silver. In our modern terms, this would mean he has nothing to do with wealth and money. So this is the mystery now. If he doesn't use gold and silver and doesn't use money, how is he able to get all these means of getting food to support so many monks, the Buddha and his monks? Now the Buddha, so we will find out about this in the Buddha's description of Ghatikara, where the Buddha continues, 18.11, it says, Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, does not dig the ground with his hand or with a pestle to look for clay. He takes only clay he finds in broken ground on the river bank or debris pushed up by rats. Taking only what he needs, he brings it home on a carrying pole. Here again, it's a monk's rule. But here we see Ghatikara keeping to this rule. Why don't the monks dig the ground? The main reason is not to kill any living beings, because when the ground starts, the habitats of certain ground animal will die. So he only carefully takes the clay that is on the surface, or which is accessible to him. When he has made a pot, he says, let anyone who wishes lift a portion of rice or a portion of beans and a portion of chickpeas, and let one take what one likes in exchange. So this is how he gets his food. He makes pots. He leaves it outside his house, and there is an understanding that anybody wants to just get a pot and leave something behind. Of course, what we're not told, I'm sure there are others who know that this Ghatikara is such a saint that they would definitely give much more for him to be able to support the Buddha and the monks. And also, as we know traditionally, it is not possible, even for one rich man, he does not alone support the Buddha, although it's possible. Others would also join in the merit making, especially for the rains retreat. But here we see this wonderful saint, Ghatikara, supporting himself, living like a monk. Only he doesn't look like a monk. So in other words, up to this point we can even say this story shows the possibility that if a layman is determined, he's able, he can, if he likes, observe some of the rules of the monks as he's able to. And the ability to do is very important. Here we're talking about someone who has done deep meditation and is able to naturally keep those rules. Naturally is very important here. Then the Buddha continues, and this shows that Ghatikara also fulfills his duty as a layperson. He says, Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara supports his blind old parents. Then we are finally told of the spiritual status of Ghatikara, 18.14. Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, having destroyed the 5 lower fetters, is one who will reappear spontaneously in the pure abodes, and there attain final nirvana without ever returning from that world. So this shows that Ghatikara, who is still a layman, is already a non-returner, given all those rules. Then the Buddha says, now this time again we have a new turn. So the king understands why the Buddha does not accept the invitation for the rains retreat. So now we come to Ghatikara's home. The blind parents are there, but Ghatikara is not home. And it was in the morning, early in the morning, and the Buddha, taking his robe and bowl, went to the house of Ghatikara for alms. Remember, Ghatikara is not there. He's probably gone out to collect some clay, maybe. So only the blind parents are there. So the parents say that Ghatikara is not there, but the parents invite the Buddha and the monks to take whatever food they want. They are blind, so they tell the Buddha, says the food is in the kitchen, the rice is in the pot, the curry is on the what they call it, the bowl, and so on. So please, you are welcome to take your meal. So the Buddha and the monks do just that. They take whatever they need and they have their meal. So, of course, in this case, probably we only have maybe the Buddha and a few other monks. So, and the Buddha finishes and he goes away. Then Ghatikara comes back and says, oh, somebody has eaten the food here. And then the parents say, yeah, the Buddha came. And Ghatikara is very happy. According to the sutta, it says, 19.6, now Maharaja, the potter Ghatikara, did not lose his zest and joy for half a month, 2 weeks. And his parents did not lose his zest and joy for a week. So they were deeply joyful for a long time. So this is the first absent meal that, in a sense, that Ghatikara has given. And then the second time it happens again, the Buddha comes along and this time there were dumplings and some other kind of food, some dumpling and some curry. Here curry is not the kind of curry we eat here, it's just it means a kind of dish. Okay? There it goes with the dumplings. So here again the parents say, well, Ghatikara is not here, but you please help yourself with the dumplings and the curry. So once the lay people invite the monks that way, at that time they can take those food. So then the Buddha and the monks went away. And again, Ghatikara comes back, he's told the Buddha has taken the meal, he's very happy. So this is the second time offering was made. Then comes this third event. The rains started to fall and Buddha's heart was leaking. So the Buddha told the monks and then to go to Ghatikara's house to get some grass, some thatch, to attach the roof. But here, when the monks went to the Ghatikara's house, again the parents say, well, the only grass you can have will be the one over the workhouse of Ghatikara. So the monks took whatever they need for the Buddha's, the roof of the Buddha's hut. So there's a hole in the hut of the Ghatikara's workhouse. Then Ghatikara comes back, and then he sees the grass is gone, the covering is gone again. He asks the parents what happened. The parents say, well, the nuns came and they took it for the Buddha. And again, you see Ghatikara very joyful that he is able to make his offering. He is full of joyful interest, if you like, and he continues to do his work. And apparently during that period, the story goes that although it rained, that part of his house did not get wet, even though it was open to the sky. So this is because of the faith of Ghatikara. Of course, there's one interesting point here we might consider. That Ghatikara is also the host of the monks for the rains retreat. We're not told that he offered food to the monks, or that is understood in the background. Okay? And of course, there are cases where we know the Buddha is invited, and then like King Bibisara, one of the kings, I think Bibisara, and he forgets about it. That happens too. But in this case, it's unlikely here. It's probably Ghatikara does make the offerings, but we're not told here exactly how it's done. Now we come to the closing. So the king is very impressed with all this. So he decides this time to give 500 cartloads of food, all kinds of sacks of rice and condiments, curry ingredients, Indian spices. There's so many kinds of wonderful fragrant spices. 500 cartloads of them. And the interesting point here, when the carts reach the house of Ghatikara, Ghatikara says, no thank you, I have enough things, I don't need all these gifts. So he's not a greedy person. So here we see him as amazing. He's a poor man, he's a potter, he does not work like an industrialist, it's all done in the house. I mean, as far as you understand, he does it alone, and he's able to get food to support his family and also support the Buddha and the monks. And he is himself a saint and non-returner. So the story ends there. In fact, the last verse is given to Ghatikara, who says, I have enough, Your Majesty. Okay? Or rather, he tells those people who came, the king didn't come. then comes the final conclusion. The Buddha identifies who the characters are. Section 25. Now, Ananda, you might think that surely at that time the Brahmin youth Jotipala was someone else. You should not see it thus, Ananda. At that time I was the Brahmin youth Jotipala. Okay, so here you see this young Brahmin was our Buddha himself. Right, so that was the last of his journey, as it were. In the life of the last Buddha, he was a monk before this Buddha. Of course, he didn't attain any state at that time, because he's going to be the future Buddha. He's going to struggle in this life and can attain awakening. But he became disciples of every, I think probably 24 Buddhas before him, right from the time of Dipankara until Kassapa. And then he himself lives the world, becomes a Buddha himself. So here we see our Buddha as a Bodhisattva, almost like any ordinary person who at first is unwilling to see the Buddha. But in the end, because of his spiritual friendship with this non-returner who is a potter, a low-class person in society, but he's the one who brings spirituality into the life of Jotipala. So this is a wonderful example also of spiritual friendship worth reflecting on. So our story ends here. You can read the details again. There are many other interesting points which are written in a long introduction in this chapter 49.3, SD 49.3. So let us go to the short reflection. Spiritual friendship is a very important aspect of our life as practicing Buddhists. It means a very wonderful kind of connection with someone where we can learn the Dharma, learn to practice meditation, to attain peace of mind, or simply to be kind to people, to show them that we are happy in the Dharma. Spiritual friendship is a way of inspiring others to do good, to follow the Buddha's path. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. By the power of such karma, may we be empowered and blessed with courage and wisdom to aspire to attain at least string winning in this life itself. And by the same token, by the power of the three jewels, and all the good deeds we have done, let us send out our loving kindness to our loved ones, to people who have been kind to us, to people that we know, and to those practicing the Dharma. May they be well, may they be happy. And finally, even to those who have difficulties looking for the Dharma, understanding the Dharma, doubting the Dharma, may they to see the true teaching in this life itself. And also may all the other beings to be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.